8 PlayStation 2 games that still have good graphics. PlayStation 2 is a symbol of a time when developers took design and graphics to a new level and surprised players by showing the difference in technology in a limited time. Although this graphic change occurred in the early years of the new millennium, some of them acted in such a way that their graphics can be considered acceptable even now. In the following, we have a list of 8 of the best PlayStation 2 games whose graphics can still be considered acceptable. 8. ICO. It was released at the beginning of the new century as an adventure mystery game. A few years later, the creators of the same game Shadow of the Colossus launched on the market. ICO was the usual story of finding the prince, but with one important difference: the story with the least amount of dialogue. In fact, ICO tells its story with pictures. The game has beautiful designs, excellent lighting, and a special and unique atmosphere. Maybe the environment is not realistic, but with the kind of design and art used, it is still acceptable. 7. Soul Calibur 3. The graphics of Soul Calibur 3 used all the graphics power of PlayStation 2. 3D battles along with perfect fighting mechanisms, specific time placement, the existence of several fighting styles and different characters along with a suitable story made it one of the most famous games of its time. What makes Soul Calibur 3 special is its graphics. Usually, 3D games get old very quickly, but this is not the case with Soul Calibur 3. The movements and special abilities of the characters are smooth and do not have the rough and confused state of fighting games of their time. The design of the stages is also excellent and is well adapted to the characters and their abilities. 6. Shadow of the Colossus. It was a surprise. This action-adventure game had fantastic graphics, which included giant enemies and you had to fight them. These giant creatures were very impressive, but what made the game special and common was its huge and empty environment that deceives you with its appearance. Despite the remake in recent years, the original still has something to say in the new age. 5. Metal Gear Solid 3. The Metal Gear series is known for breaking limits and its limitless creativity. Kojima and the team of the company during these 3 versions showed the best way of storytelling and character development. In the 3rd version, the graphics of the game reached a higher level than ever and showed others that it has no meaning up to the limit. The cutscenes, character design, and computer animation were all top-notch for their time. The use of motion capture also helped to make the characters and the environment more natural. The developers paid special attention to all the details of the environment and made the game look like one of the espionage blockbusters. 4. God of War 2. The God of War series has achieved many successes with its 2 recent versions, both in terms of ratings and sales, but the 3 main versions have not lacked anything these days. Especially the 2nd version, which became one of the symbols of PlayStation 2. In the 2nd part of the game, during the boss fights, we had huge and dynamic scenes. The entire game had a cinematic feel that we had never seen before. The sounds, art direction, and game designs were all top-notch for their time. The release of God of War 2 opened a new window to graphics in the gaming world of its time. 3. Gran Turismo 4. Gran Turismo is one of the main series of PlayStation and has been present on all its devices almost since the beginning. While it may not be as flashy as today's popular title, Forza, most of its releases have been pure experiences. Especially the 4th version, which became one of the best racing games on PlayStation 2. Many players consider this version to be the best part of the entire series. The game contains a 100-year history of cars, and you can find a car from any period in it. The design of the cars is in the best possible state and attention has been paid to the smallest details. Many cars have their own look and feel, and this was a new thing at the time. Of course, the most important feature was on the field. The racing environment and the cars inside the race looked fantastic then and still do today. 2. Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 3 can be considered the scariest part in this series. The game revolves around Heather, now grown up, and her confrontation with her nightmares around the town of Silent Hill. You have to escape from the Order cult and get out of the hill while doing some missions. From the beginning to the end of the game, it is a big test for Heather, and during it, psychological pressure is imposed on her as much as possible. The graphics of Silent Hill 3 is what makes this version special and desirable. The monsters are absolutely terrifying and the character designs are well done. Every room, corridor and corner hides a danger. The game was special in every way and the graphics are one of the main parts of this specialness. 1. Okami. Kami is an action-adventure game that follows the story of the Japanese sun goddess in her quest to save the Earth from the clutches of an 8-headed monster named Orochi. The game has received many inspirations from Japanese legends. Okami has a special art style, especially the shading of the bed and the art of Japanese inscriptions that had been implemented at that time. The game was limited to the processing power of the PlayStation 2, but it made the most of it and used the art of Japanese watercolor design well in its designs, which made its graphics special and memorable. In terms of design and graphics, Okami is one of the best games ever made, and the recent remaster made it look even better than before. Subscribe to our channel and wait for our new videos, friends.